Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat for Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today's episode we have the starting news. Jimmy Johnson finally returned to the winner's circle in Auto Club. This locks him into the playoffs for the first time in multiple seasons as SHR continues to show lots of speed early in the season. But Kyle Busch starts the season with only one top 10. Can he bounce back from this rough start? And as well as we got Gary Owen ourselves took over the points lead in the last episode with a second place finish in Auto Club when we were obviously just behind Jimmy Johnson, as he was able to finally return to victory lane. Now has come through into the Truck Series here for Las Vegas. It's been a bit of an absence from the Truck Series because the schedule is kind of all messed up. You see new paint design on the truck, and we had Haley Deegan back in the truck for us here today, or here tonight in Las Vegas. As she started just behind the midfield, and she actually kind of just struggled throughout this race, and only her second truck race, so definitely a lot of time to learn. She came to the final lap out of turns 4. You can see not in the top 10 as she came down towards the line here to get a fairly decent finish for her second race, but certainly a lot of room for improvement here for her in the next races. But now we set our sights on Cup Series qualifying for Martinsville here at the paperclip as we came out of turns 4 heading down this front straightaway to cross the line, barely beating our goal, and we would qualify P10 here at Martinsville for the paperclip. So a decent qualifying effort, and hopefully we can carry the speed over into the race and move our way forwards as we got Kevin Harvick, our teammate, on the pole.
We're live from Martinsville Speedway for the STP 500. Now, Martinsville is known as the Paperclip due to its unique shape. This historic track is the shortest in NASCAR, and the venue is overflowing with fans excited to see our first short track race of the year.
All right, thank you, Rick Allen. There, you heard it from him. The first short track race of the season here. I guess if we don't count ISM as a short track now, as we're ready to go green though for the STP 500. Matt Tifft has been struggling this weekend. Tyler Reddick sent to the back of the field after failing technical inspection. Now as we get ready to go green on this outside lane, there you see Kurt Busch on the inside. One of my favorite paint schemes actually of the season there in that one car with the gear wrench to Monster Energy fade. Now as we're ready to go green, as the green flag is out here in Martinsville, and we are underway. Kevin Harvick leads the way as he recently won at ISM Raceway here a few episodes ago, so he's locked into the playoffs. He's kind of leading this SHR club right now early on in these first handful of races in this season. Now as we go down into turn 3, Kozlowski moves up into that second position as we exit turn 4 heading down the front straightaway. So down to P11, we lost one spot, obviously being on the outside lane, as we do get down in behind Joey Logano just in front of the 6 of the Roush Fenway driver. Ryan Newman is making a little bit of contact there with the 19 on the exit of turn 2, but we would continue forwards there as we came to lap 3, actually hitting the curb, but we got up the inside of one of our teammates, of Clint Boyer, and we'd move now up into the 9th position as we cross the line to start this 4th lap here in Martinsville. As Kevin Harvick at this point, he had continued to hold on to the lead in these first handful of laps. Now as we came through on lap 10, sending it now up the inside of Joey Logano as we were able to get to the back bumper of him. Harvick still leads as we take over P8. We would run down Eric Jones as well in the coming laps. Now as we came to lap 13, within about a car length and a half or so of him. Now is actually out of turn 2. We got Ryan Newman who goes spinning on the exit of the corner. He's going to collect Alex Bowman in this situation as well, as that will bring out our first caution of the day. Nobody came to the pit lane, so we get right back into the action here now, about the halfway point in this first stage here in Martinsville. So Newman takes a spin. He's still in this race. He's not DNF'd out of it, so he definitely has an opportunity to work his way back forwards. Ryan Newman has run up front in previous races in Martinsville. He had a chance to win back in the 2012 Martinsville race. I remember that one very well, being a Jeff Gordon fan now, as we came through out of turns 4. Joey Logano back up the inside as we're stuck on the outside now. Paul Menard there right behind the 22 of Logano, as well as we try to rally up on this outside as we exit turn 2, but just obviously don't quite have the momentum of the corner. We do stay fairly even with the 22 of Logano as we go down into turns 3 though. And if we get a good exit here, we might have a chance to clear Logano down this front straightaway. And sure enough, we get that exit we need, and we actually clear him on the outside lane and hold on to the 8th position as we actually get into the back there of the one of Kurt Busch into his left rear now. So this is a little bit of contact made with Kurt down this back straightaway as well, as we're going to go up the inside of him down into turn 3. So a little bit aggressive there on the one of Kurt Busch, but it would, I guess, pay off there as we came out of turns 4. Still side by side, as he definitely does not want to give up this fight now as we go down into the corner, but we would be able to to take the position away. We kind of ran him wide, but like I said, we take P7 away, and once again try to run down the 20 of Eric Jones. Sure enough, on lap 22 of this first stage, we'd get to the back of Jones, get up the inside, and send it down into turns 1, and we would be able to take P6 away from the 20 cars. We came out of turns 2, just continuing to kind of slowly move forwards now as we came through to the final lap of this first stage. And Martin Truex Jr. had actually moved up through the field. He had gotten to my back bumper, as well as Bowman had moved up as well, just behind Martin Truex Jr. as we go down into turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time here in the first stage, at least. Now as we exit the corner, we're going to hang on just over Truex and get the 6th position here in stage 1. So definitely a very solid stage finish as we just plowed into the back a bunch of cars there, Keselowski included. So we get a little bit of damage, and you know that we have a restart glitch when that happens, when you hit a car after the caution comes out. So I was a little bit concerned going into the second stage. You saw me make a wedge adjustment. I just felt like the car was a little bit too tight, and we lost 3 positions on the pit lane and dropped down to P9 as Ryan Newman stays out here for the start of stage 2. Now as the green flag is back out and we are underway immediately, I pull over to the left because you can see how slow the car fired off, and I actually make a 3 wide down into turns 1, so maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have just stayed in the way. So a bit of a mess already as we're 3 wide down the back straightaway. Kurt Busch, he backs out of it as we're side by side with Ryan Blaney down into turns 3 up ahead. Newman still leads as you see Michael McDowell getting up into the mix. William Byron up there as well now as Hamlin and Harvick are side by side, and we know that Hamlin should be able to easily pass the 6 of Ryan Newman fairly quickly here as we go up the inside of the 2 of Keselowski. A little bit of door banging now as we exit the corner, but he would hold on to the position, and then we would fight up the inside of William Byron a little bit later here in this stage. And on lap 4 approaching lap 5, you see Newman, he had fallen back now as William Byron was also falling back, I should mention, as we go down into turns 1. Hamlin leading at this point as we get up the inside of Newman, as well as we try to take over P7 and then set our sights on the next group of cars once again of Keselowski, Harvick, who now runs P5 after winning the first stage now, as we would clear Newman and get away from that mess. And sure enough, we just didn't quite have the speed at this point to run down this group of cars up ahead now, as there's actually trouble behind us again. It's the 88 of Alex Bowman now who's having issues as we exit turn 4, and that's going to bring out a caution. It looks like he collects his teammate of William Byron in the process now as a caution is out. No one pitted once again, so we'd get right back into the action, ready for the restart here in Martinsville. Hamlin and Truex on the front row now as the green flag is back. Michael McDowell and Kyle Busch running P3 and P4 as we go down into turns 1 behind our Stewart Haas Racing teammate of Kevin Harvick. Behind us, we got Clint Boyer. Eric Almirola is also running well today as our SHR team just continues to run really well in these first handful of races this season, and it's definitely nice to see, and hopefully we can continue that obviously into the rest of this regular season and the playoffs, as well as go down into turns 1 up the inside of the 18 of Kyle Busch. So now up to P5 as we exit turn 2, clearing that 18, and just about actually, he would actually fight back up the outside as we came to lap 14 and clear myself actually as we went down into turn 3, so we actually dropped down to P6, and sure enough as we came through out of turns 2, now lap 18, actually losing the back end of the car there as we go very sideways down the front straightaway. We hang on to it, but lose a ton of ground as we go down towards turns 3, and now the 95 of Matt Benedetto gives us a bumper into turns 3 as he just decided he was going to punt me out of the way. I was not happy at all about that. We just lost the back end and barely held on, so I decided we're going to send it up the inside and let him know that we weren't very happy about that move. So we give him a little bit of a door bang as we go down into the corner side by side down the back straightaway with De Benedetto now as we go down into turns 3, but we would be able to clear him and take over P8 and get away from him now, as certainly the car felt a little bit more free, obviously, as you could tell now, as I completely lost it at turns 2. I went into like the camera perspective of behind the car, and I'm not sure if maybe I just kind of got all messed up when I did that, but the back end just slipped right on out. Now as it came through though to the final lap of the second stage, Boyer P6, Almirola 7th, and myself in P8 now as we go down into turns 3 for the final time here in stage 2. Certainly don't have the car that we quite had last time at Martinsville where we were contending for the win, but we come through to cross the line in stage 2 to get P8 here in the stage. So nothing to be too disappointed about as we just ran into the back of Eric Almirola, which might indicate we might have a slow start here for stage 3 as well. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But Denny Hamlin won the second stage once again. I decided to make a wedge adjustment. Although we lost the back end of the car earlier, I decided to go down still on the wedge because the car still felt too tight throughout kind of the whole stage. Now as we get ready though to start the third and final stage as the green flag is out. Denny Hamlin now on the front row, and you can see once again we get a very slow restart due to getting into the back of our SHR teammate of Eric Almirola after the stage ended. Now as we're going to come through out of the corner 3 wide in front of us between our 3 teammates as they go down into turns. We're giving the Boyer just a tiny tap to the bumper. Now as come through the center of the corner, we're 3 wide up the middle on the exit of turns 4 behind Kevin Harvick. Keselowski up our inside now as we go down into turns 1, trying to get whatever positions we can. These restarts haven't played into our favor at all today. We've been starting on the outside pretty much every restart, I believe. So that certainly has hindered our progress throughout these first 2 stages. Now as we're on lap 69, nice as we come through on the exit of turn 4, back to the inside of our SHR teammate of Boyer. Now is going down into turns 1 behind the 2 of Keselowski, the 1-time champion. Obviously he had a chance to go 2-time champion last season in our career mode till everything went wrong, but we came to lap 71 and I went a little bit too deep into turns 1 and allowed the 47 of Ryan Preece to get up my inside. The first kind of 15-20 laps or so of these stages, or just a new run on new tires, was certainly not playing into my favor. And we came to lap 74, and we were actually able to fight back to the inside of the 47 of Ryan Preece and take over the 9th position. And sure enough, you can see on lap 84, still hadn't quite run down the cars up ahead as we came through turns 3 and turns 4, just trying to make up some time now as the tires were slowly starting to come in once again. Now as we came to lap 85, and we actually would end up getting a caution on lap 85, and he sees the 71 of Ryan Truex. He's going to turn down into us, and that's the 3rd time today that after the caution we've hit something. So now I was already expecting another issue on the restart. I put the wedge down even more, hoping that it loosens up the car, and once again we are set up for an outside lane restart from P6. So we had a great pit stop, not good restart there at all for Michael McDowell. We actually get a decent restart after we got hit by the 71 as we were side by side with the 34 down into turns 1. Kyle Busch leads with his 2 other teammates of Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin. Eric Jones somewhere behind us now is going down into turn 3, lunging up the inside of the 34 of Michael McDowell as we exit turns 4, heading down this front straightaway, trying to take over the 4th position as we hit lap 90. 36 laps to go here at the paperclip. Now as we come through to clear the 34 nearly in, we're going to kind of chop his nose and take over the position. And sure enough, the drivers in front of us, JGR3, they would actually drive away at this point once again, just not having the short run speed that we needed, which obviously was unfortunate. But for the first time this season, we're actually going to do a little bit of a crank it up here in career mode as we come through to cross the line. Alright, there was your crank it up. You can see we were running down lap traffic. Sure enough, we come to lap 106 now. 20 laps ago, approaching 19, we had started to deal with this lap traffic, and that would be our big opportunity here to get back into the mix with the front 3 drivers. Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr. all dealing with lap traffic just behind us. We got a little bit of pressure from our teammate of Eric Almirola. Sure enough, we came to lap 111. You can see just how messed up it was. We were all just kind of running different lanes. Kyle Busch on the inside. Michael McDowell had actually gotten back up in the mix. He had gotten past me as there was just nowhere to go. It was just kind of like which lane's going to move through the quickest through this traffic. We got to the bottom passing Truex and Hamlin, and then Michael McDowell is just in front of us and Kyle Busch as well. As now, once again, a deciding factor. Which lane do we choose, the bottom or the top? I see Kyle Busch goes to the top. Everyone else is on the bottom, so I get up to the top. And sure enough, we would take over P2, and we're right in this mix, but the car was starting to slip out from under me. As you can see there, as it came to lap 116, Michael McDowell had passed Kyle Busch, for the lead, and then Almirola came through on the bottom, so I get back to the bottom now, hoping that I can find something as we give the bumper to our teammate of Almirola down into turns 1, as everyone's just stacking up quite significantly now as we make contact with the 51 as we came out of turns 2, but sure enough we got to the outside of Almirola now, lap 119, and that was the lane that was preferred as we're slipping and sliding on the exit of these corners late in this race. Now as we came to lap 123, approaching just 2 to go, and we're going to get into the outside wall there as we exit turns 4, 2 laps to go already here in Martinsville. Michael McDowell leading the way now as we're side by side with our SHR teammate of Almirola. We're very side by side on the exit of the corner. We correct into the outside wall, hitting Truex in the process, as this is going to bring up the caution and force overtime here in Martinsville. 5 seconds of damage. I decided we're going to stay out actually and go from P5 and see what we can do, and I certainly do not want to see Michael McDowell winning this race. We've already had, I think, what, 1 or 2 underdog winners this season, and that's going to certainly affect the playoff picture. Now as the green flag is back out, overtime is underway. A simple mistake on my part, just losing the back end as we go down into turns 1, and the car did not turn at all as I went down into turns 1. The 47 sends it up the inside, 3 wide, Kyle Busch on my outside, and McDowell leads the way, looking for his first career win in over 10 years in the Monster Energy Cup Series. Now as we exit turns 4, Kyle Busch on the outside, he gets clear. Kurt Busch behind us with Hamlin as the white flag is in the air. Almirola down to P3, Truex in P2 with an opportunity to pounce on McDowell as we're still slipping and sliding on the exit of the corners. Now as McDowell leads the way down into turn 3 as we come through the center of the corner for the final time, up the inside again of Kyle Busch. Now as we exit turns 4, big contact there with the 18, we're slipping and sliding. McDowell wins for the first time in his career in the Monster Energy Cup Series as we come through to finish in the 6th position. Michael McDowell got the win. As I said after the race, we struggled with pace today. The car just wasn't right. Pretty obvious for that one. But Michael McDowell is the story here today, an underdog, a big underdog winner. Now, as like I said, first career win for Michael McDowell. Jimmy Johnson down there in 20th, William Byron 21st. There you see a bunch of drivers a lap down. Alex Bowman, Ty Dillon, they both DNF'd from this race, as we have some drivers who aren't very happy with us. I provoked Matt DiBenedetto because he's the one that just drove straight into the back of me. Eric Jones not very happy. I didn't remember hitting him at all, so I apologized. At the time, I didn't remember hitting him at all. But as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. Weird race and a weird start to the season. We're having some underdog winners. Matt Tifft won the Daytona 500. Jimmy Johnson in Auto Club. And now Michael McDowell wins his first ever race as well here in Martinsville. So interesting how this might affect the playoffs. So we'll see how it carries over into the next one at Texas, where we usually don't fare off very well, but we'll see what we can do. So as always, I will see you guys in the next episode, and thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this one. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.